Looks like that's working. Click that go live button. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the redo of the Callous Mind Talking Head live cast. I attempted to do this on Tuesday, and ridiculously enough, I forgot to turn on my volume, but I am well aware now, and I can see the bar moving, that my voice is actually being broadcast this time. So that was my fault for completely shitting the bed. And having said that, let's go ahead and get on with today's show. Um, this is the show where sports, politics, and culture collide, and this week we have a great example of the collision of at least two of these elements. We will get into that, but before I do, I must send a shout out to today's video sponsor, Buy Custom Coins. And if you're in the market for custom coins, custom challenge coins, or custom lapel pins, then you must absolutely do yourself the service of checking out buycustomcoins.com, the most obvious place online to buy your first or next custom coins. And so, without further ado, we will go ahead and jump into some stories. And it looks like some additional stories have come to the forefront since Tuesday. So, this is actually from today. Report: former NFL player Philip Adams kills 5 in South Carolina, then himself. The gunman who killed 5 people, including a prominent doctor in South Carolina, was former NFL player Philip Adams, who killed himself early Thursday, according to a person who was briefed on the investigation. This person, who spoke on condition of anonymity because he wasn't authorized to speak publicly, said Adams' parents lived near the doctor's home in Rock Hill and that he had been treated by the doctor. He said Adams killed himself after midnight with a .45 caliber weapon. He was 32. The York County Sheriff's Office said they had searched for hours before finding the suspect in a nearby home. Dr. Robert Leslie, 70, and his wife Barbara Leslie, 69, were pronounced dead at the scene along with grandchildren. Oh no. The man who had, let's see, a man who had been working at the home, James Lewis, 38, from Gadsden, was found shot to death outside, and a sixth person was hospitalized with serious gunshot wounds, York County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Trent Ferris said. Adams played in 78 NFL games over 5 seasons for 6 teams. He joined the 49ers in 2010 as a 7th round draft pick out of South Carolina State, and though he rarely started, he went on to play for New England, Seattle, Oakland, and the Jets before finishing his career with the Falcons in 2015. As a rookie late in the 2010 season, Adams suffered a severe ankle injury that required surgery that included several screws being inserted into the leg. He never played for the 49ers again, getting released just before the 2011 season began. Later with the Raiders, he had 2 concussions over 3 games in 2012. Whether he suffered long-lasting concussion-related injuries wasn't immediately clear. Adams would not have been eligible for testing as part of a broad settlement between the league and its former players over such injuries because he hadn't retired by 2014. Adams' father told a Charlotte television station that he blamed football for problems that may have led his son to commit Wednesday's violence. I can say he's a good kid. He was a good kid, and I think the football messed him up, Alonzo Adams told WCNC TV. He didn't talk much and he didn't bother nobody. Deputies were called around 4:45 p.m. Wednesday to the Leslie's home, which is far up a driveway from an arched stone gate and not visible from the road. They evacuated the neighbors as they spent hours searching for a suspect with police dogs. So that's terribly, terribly tragic news right there. It's never a good thing to hear about gun violence or any violence, unless that violence is in the ring. And in this case, this is good news for all the Nate Diaz fans out there. This story is from March 30th. Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards agree to fight for UFC 262, sources say. Nate Diaz is back. Diaz, one of the most popular fighters in MMA, will meet Leon Edwards at UFC 262 on May 15th in Houston. Sources told ESPN both fighters have verbally agreed to the fight, though the contract is not signed yet. The fight will serve as a 5-round co-main event for the card headlined by Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler for the vacant UFC lightweight title, sources said. This will mark the first 5-round non-title co-main event in UFC history. Diaz, 20-12, hasn't fought since his November 2019 loss to Jorge Masvidal in Madison Square Garden. Edwards, 18-3-1, is unbeaten in his past 9 fights. He had won 8 fights in a row, however. Earlier this month, his bout against Bilal Muhammad ended in a no contest after he hit Muhammad with an accidental eye poke in the second round, which resulted in Muhammad no longer being able to continue. Edwards' last loss was to Kamaru Usman before Usman became UFC welterweight champion in December 2015. The promotion had hoped to book Edwards to face Colby Covington next, but couldn't get Covington to agree to the fight for undisclosed reasons, sources said. The UFC pivoted to Edwards-Diaz fight late last week. UFC 262 will take place at the Toyota Center, home of the Houston Rockets. And for all you diehard MMA fans out there, then you will know the name Demetrious Johnson. And so this story I saw come across last night, and I was interested in it because it was about Mighty Mouse. So Demetrious Johnson knocked out by Adriano Moraes in one championship title bout. So Demetrious Johnson, one of the most dominant champions in mixed martial arts history, suffered a crushing defeat to Adriano Moraes on Wednesday during a landmark night for Asian-based promotion One Championship. The One Championship event took place in Singapore and was aired live in the U.S. on TNT, marking the company's first live telecast on U.S. television. Johnson, 33-1, widely considered to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, was an obvious candidate to headline. As a UFC flyweight champion, he set the record for consecutive title defenses, defending the belt 11 times from 2013 to 2018. So, as with all these stories, there will be a link in the description box below this video after I get all that stuff taken care of. This story I'm highlighting because it was one of the stories on the thumbnail. So, New York Jets trade quarterback Sam Darnold to Carolina Panthers for 3 draft picks. And if you guys happen to be a Jets fan or care about this transaction at all, please let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. This is from April 5th. 3 years after hailing him as a franchise savior, the New York Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers on Monday, ending months of intense speculation about their quarterback plans. In return for Darnold, the number 3 overall pick in 2018, the Jets received 3 picks, a 6th rounder in the 2021 draft later this month, and a 2nd rounder and 4th rounder in 2022. Without a proven quarterback on the roster, the Jets are expected to select Darnold's replacement with the number 2 overall pick in the April 29th draft in Cleveland. The leading candidate is BYU's Zach Wilson, who has met virtually multiple times with the Jets brass. If the Jets do select a quarterback at number 2 overall, they would become the first team in the common draft era to select 2 quarterbacks within the top 3 overall picks in a 4-year span, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. The organization was conflicted by the decision to part with Darnold, sources said. Jets coach Robert Saleh spoke highly of him, saying he has unbelievable arm talent. The Jets considered the idea of keeping Darnold and pairing him with a rookie, a source said, but they liked the idea of a fresh start for all parties. The organization also was cognizant of a potential quarterback controversy and felt it might have become a distraction. The benefit of resetting with a rookie contract also was a factor in the decision, a source said. The number 2 pick brings a fixed cost, a projected $35 million over 4 years. With Darnold, there wouldn't have been financial there would have been financial uncertainty beyond 2021 if the Jets didn't exercise his fifth-year option for 2022. Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer said talks with the Jets heated up at Ohio State's Pro Day on March 30th and continued over the Easter weekend. Ohio State's Pro Day came 3 days after the 49ers traded up to number 3, reducing Carolina's odds of getting the quarterback it wanted at number 8. So, there you go. All right, so there was a big story here, and I'm just trying to get my story straight. Bah. I have some news for Arizona sports fans, and then I'll do the national stories first, and then I'll get into the kind of Valley specific stuff here. So. All right, so I hope everybody's still tuned up there. I was just trying to get these stories straight. Make sure that my volume is still on. Yeah, it looks like the bar is still moving, so that's a good thing. All right. So I've talked about the whole Deshaun Watson thing in other videos, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to talk about it as the story continues to evolve. And this was from April 2nd. Houston police investigating report concerning Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. The Houston Police Department has launched an investigation concerning Deshaun Watson after a complainant filed a report against the Houston Texans quarterback on Friday. As with any allegation, the Houston Police Department is now conducting an investigation and will not comment further during the investigative process, the department said in a statement. It did not specify what Watson is being accused of in the complaint. Watson's lawyers Rusty Hardin said in a statement later on Friday that he and Watson will fully cooperate with the Houston Police Department. We welcome this long overdue development, Hardin said. Now we will learn the identity of at least one accuser. We will fully cooperate with the Houston Police Department. Watson is currently facing 21 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault and inappropriate behavior filed by Houston attorney Tony Busby. Busby in a statement Friday said he wasn't personally involved in filing the report with police. He wrote on Instagram earlier this week that he didn't feel comfortable going to the Houston Police Department with any information and that he and his clients will go elsewhere to provide our evidence to investigative authorities. Watson has publicly denied any wrongdoing, and Hardin said last week that he believes any allegation that Deshaun forced a woman to commit a sexual act is completely false. Harden on Wednesday released statements from 18 women who say that they have worked with the Texans quarterback and that he never made them feel uncomfortable or demanded anything outside the scope of a professional massage. Watson's attorneys said the statements were voluntary and from women who have collectively worked with Deshaun more than 130 times over the past 5 years. So, all right, and this is the big story where politics, sports, and culture have collided. This was also from April 2nd. Major League Baseball moving 2021 All Star Game from Atlanta over Georgia voting law. Major League Baseball announced Friday that it is moving the 2021 All Star Game out of Atlanta in response to a new Georgia law that has civil rights groups concerned about its potential to restrict voting access for people of color. The 2021 Major League Baseball draft, a new addition to All Star Game festivities this year, will also be relocated. For those that don't know, the All Star Game has been relocated to Denver, Coors Field, home of the Colorado Rockies. In a statement, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said the league is finalizing a new host city, which I've already mentioned the new host city, and details about that event will be announced shortly. Source told ESPN that the 2022 All-Star Game is still planned for Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, and that site won't be moved up to fill the void this summer. So, I think this is moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta is going to hurt people of color more so than their quote unquote restrictive voting law, which just requires ID. So I don't really see anything super restrictive there. As a matter of fact, I think voter ID is probably pretty necessary. I mean, if you need an ID to buy alcohol, to buy marijuana, to get on a plane, to cross the border, to pretty much do anything, then I don't see any reason why it's so abhorrent to need an ID to vote. I mean, good lord. But everybody just waits for everything to be ticked off, and you don't need to work hard to offend people very much these days. I mean, all you got to do is breathe, and somebody's going to be offended by it. So, all right, and in Arizona Cardinals news, this from March 30th, Colt McCoy signs one-year deal with Arizona Cardinals. Will back up Kyler Murray. The Red River rivalry is coming to Arizona Cardinals quarterback's room. Colt McCoy, the former Texas standout, signed a one-year contract with Arizona where he will back up former Oklahoma star Kyler Murray, the team announced Tuesday night. The Cardinals let quarterback Brett Hundley, who backed up Murray in 2019 and was the team's third-string quarterback in 2020, walk in free agency, leaving the team with former CFL quarterback Chris Streveler as Murray's backup. Coach Cliff Kingsbury, a former standout quarterback at Texas Tech before becoming the Red Raiders head coach from 2013 to 2018, had thrown his support behind Streveler as his choice to be Murray's backup multiple times last season. McCoy could fill Hundley's role as the veteran presence in the Cardinals' quarterback's room while being inactive all season. McCoy has played for 4 teams in his 11-year NFL career, most recently spending the 2020 season with the New York Giants. He played in 4 games with 2 starts last season while throwing for 375 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. McCoy also played for the Washington football team from 2014 to 2019, the San Francisco 49ers in 2013, and the Cleveland Browns from 2010 to 2012. A third-round pick of the Browns in 2010, McCoy had been a backup for the majority of his career. He started 21 games in his first 2 seasons, including 13 and 2011 with the Browns, but has started just 9 games while playing in 23 in the last 9 seasons. Oh, okay. Let's see, that story I already went over, that story I already went over, and that story I already went over. Okay. All right, so let me see what I got out here in the way of comments. Adam had hit me up and he was giving me a hard time about screwing the pooch on my last live stream. So, which he should. That was a total bonehead move on my part. So I can't say anything about that. Let's see. Adam says doesn't matter what the Jets did with Darnold or what they will do with the first round picks. They will never be any match for the Bills or even the Dolphins in their division. I think that's a pretty good point. I think that makes it. The show was a tiny bit better this time with actual sound. I see how you are. And the Panthers are nuts if they think they will ever be playing for anything other than second place as long as Brady is still playing. Yeah, that's true. I mean, now that Breeze is retired, that kind of leaves the door open there in New Orleans. And if Brady's still playing, then I think the NFC South does belong to Tampa. So I tend to agree with you on that. It's a pretty congested field there in the South, and I mean, I certainly think the Falcons could bounce back next year, and as long as they still got a good quarterback, then there's always a possibility. So I think the NFC South is pretty stacked, quite honestly. But I guess we'll see. So. All right. Well, hey, man. Thanks for joining in again. And I know that the Tuesday's stream was messed up, but I'll try to be better. I'll try to be better going forward and check the lights and make sure they're on. But I will also for any of those still watching. And if you want to share this video, like it, whatever, comment below. Tell me I did a terrible job. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you that Matt Ryan is a little unreliable, but I don't know, man. The guy's kind of like a Gemini. He's a twin. He can play at MVP level or he can be total trash. And I don't necessarily think it was solely his problem last year anyway. But you know how it is with coaches. I mean, usually a team gets a new coach and then they may be pretty good, and then the voice starts to weaken over time, and pretty soon I honestly it almost seems like the Falcons are still cursed from losing that Super Bowl that they had a big lead in against the Patriots. That was man, I don't know. They always say a Super Bowl hangover, but something like that. I mean, it's such a terrible experience. I can't imagine how those guys don't still think about that, or at least Matt Ryan himself anyway. So, but thank you all for watching. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until next week, I will talk to you guys on Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and or 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Yeah, he has Julio, but that's I don't know. I think it was a collective issue with the Falcons, but you never know, man. You never know. We'll see what 2021 brings, because I think it will be different. I think it will be different. I think that'd be my prediction right here. If I was going to make a ridiculous prediction at the end of a show, I'm going to say that the Atlanta Falcons will be more competitive in 2021 than they were in 2020. So, and I'm not a Falcons fan, but I just think that that's the writing that's on the proverbial wall. So, but we'll see.